welcome to Coastal Living. We have a fantastic show lined up for you all today. First and foremost, Restaurant Week is still in full effect in Port Aransas, and we're going to visit with our friends at Seafood and Spaghetti Works to see what's on the menu for them and some of the other participating restaurants. Plus, January happens to be National Blood Donor Month, although we should commit to donating as often as possible throughout the year because your donation could save up to 3 lives. We've got more details on that as well. Thank you for joining us. You're watching Coastal Living. We're in the second week of Port Aransas Restaurant Week, and if you've never had the experience, you certainly want to make plans to attend. I'm here with Brett, and he's going to give us a scoop on what this spread is and how you can enjoy these delicious flavors at your own leisure. You just got to make plans to come out here. So talk to me about Restaurant Week, 5 years.
Yeah, this is the 5th anniversary of it. We started during COVID as a way to kind of celebrate the restaurant scene when we were having a little bit of restaurant, not going into the public. So we've evolved since then, and now we have nearly 20 restaurants here on the island that are celebrating the great cuisine and coastal cuisine that we have to offer here. And we've expanded it now to go into 3 full weekends so people can have time to come see all these nearly 20 different restaurants.
Very cool. And this isn't just on the weekends, y'all, so you can come any day of the week. Now, a lot of these places are offering lunch and dinner. So talk to me about the spread. We've got a lot of options here, and this is just a few of the restaurants that are participating.
Yeah, these are just a few. Right in front of me here, I think this one is Castaway's restaurant, and we have the elote corn nachos here. Those are a favorite, as well as a filet right there with a raspberry chipotle glaze on it with asparagus and Yukon Gold mashed potatoes. So those are great things. And Castaway's is always a traditional visitor favorite here in Port A. So
absolutely. And we've got sushi if you're into fish. Talk to me about these dishes.
This is one of my favorite restaurants. Blue Water Cowboy is here on Beach Street with us. They have Sushi Dave, who puts together a lot of different sushi cuisines and offerings at Blue Water Cowboy. And this is one of their specialties. They're offering it during Restaurant Week only, as well as here you got the scallops and the bacon and shallot cream that is so wonderful, and again offered only during Restaurant Week, so you only have through February 2nd to come try these dishes at Blue Water Cowboy.
And then Grumbles is a staple here in Port Aransas as well. They've got some delicious
Grumbles
food,
is headquartered at Fisherman's Wharf and offers some great things. You're looking at mahi sliders with the fried green tomatoes on it and homemade coleslaw. Some of the tastiest French fries. You can see the seasoning oozing off of those.
So we've got Beer House. You cannot go wrong with a delicious hamburger and some French fries, right? And then if we take it over here, what do we miss over here?
We have Black Marlin that's here. You've got a chicken fettuccine. They're located inside Palmilla Beach Resort and Golf Community. You have some of the pot stickers that they're known for. The dessert there, look at that strawberry and fluffy plums
looks
behind.
incredible.
It looks great. The dip is the redfish dip. So they're known for their redfish dip. It's a smoked redfish dip. Fantastic appetizer to enjoy, but you get all of that for your dinner. And I think the hamburger over there is probably one of their specials for lunch as well. And you can get the nice sirloin steak there, all grilled up like hamburger for you and ready to enjoy at Black Marlin.
So we want to invite you out. Everything is going on until February 2nd. So pick a day, come out for lunch and dinner, come out every day. We just want you to enjoy the cuisine out here. Where's the best spot to go for more details so we can kind of make a plan of action?
You can go to PortARestaurantWeek.com. Has all of the participating restaurants, their menus for lunch, dinner, and or brunch if they're open on Sundays for that. So you got a lot of different options, and then you can plan a weekend getaway if you'd like. Come stay for the weekend, or just come every night and enjoy the great coastal cuisine just minutes away.
I love it. Come on out to Port Aransas and enjoy all the coastal flavors from these fantastic restaurants, and it comes with the view. See you here. If you didn't know already, January is National Blood Donor Month, so of course we had to bring in Miss Ashley from the Coastal Bend Blood Center to talk about the relevance of this month and why we want to encourage you to make it one of your goals, maybe a resolution, to donate as many times as you possibly can this year and help save lives. So it's great to have you back in the studio.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Yes, you too. Talk to me about National Blood Donor Month. How are we celebrating?
So it's really just about bringing the constant awareness, right? Because it's important, but also thanking our donors in our community, which wouldn't be possible without all of our wonderful selfless donors, this would not be possible. So this is just an opportunity for us to thank them, you know, during National Blood Donor Month, because without them, we would not be able to live out our mission, which is to save as many lives as possible here in the Coastal Bend.
Of course, and I guess the timing couldn't be better, right? Because the holidays, any holiday, but particularly the end of the year, unfortunately is the time that we need the most blood because things happen, right? So I'm sure everything has a shelf life, but then we need to replenish for the new year.
Exactly, yes. So we're just, as you mentioned, we're just coming off the holiday season. So this is an opportunity right now for us to just replenish our blood supply, make sure that we have that sufficient amount of blood on our shelves, which is, again, blood has a certain shelf life. So for example, whole blood is only good for 42 days. This is why it's extremely vital that we obtain at least 120 every single day.
Yes.
And our blood mobiles are out in the community 7 days a week for this reason. So again, it's just an opportunity, a friendly reminder. It's National Blood Donor Month. Let's start the new year off right. Let's save lives in our community, and let's do our part.
Surely you guys always make an incentive, right?
We
so
do,
when you have these themed events, they're giving away PlayStations and hunting trips and all this really cool stuff. And there's always an exciting theme, and naturally you leave with like coupons and a little snack and a t-shirt, right?
Yes.
So there's always an extra incentive, and then of course you'll get those calls periodically too, and that's when you know they need it, right? When they're calling and they're like, please come in and donate. So find the time in your schedule if you can to stop by the blood center. When you see the blood mobile, if you got a meal in your belly and you got 20, 30 minutes to spare, it's kind of more faster now,
It is now that we have Quick Pass. It's a new program that we installed, so it kind of, you know, sheds some time off, which is always a good thing. But, and again, we just want to remind everyone that yes, walk-ins are always welcome. So like you mentioned, if you see the blood mobile in your area, you've already had something to eat, please stop, walk in. We need you every day.
Great. Okay, and what's coming up for you all this year?
So we always have fun stuff coming up. Right now, everybody who donates will receive a Find the Hero in You t-shirt, Outback coupon, some other sweet treats. Coming up in February, we have Girl Scout cookies. That's a fan favorite. And then, of course, we have our bigger blood drive that's coming up in March, which is a fishing for donors. So we'll talk a little bit more about that as we get closer. But yep, there's always something going on. Blood drives happening 7 days a week. You can find all that information on our website, coastalbendbloodcenter.org.
Okay, and you could be one of those that just does this religiously, and I mean, if that's not selfless, I don't know what is.
Yes.
So try to make a habit, make it your resolution to give back at least once or twice this year, if not all 4 times that you can, and you know, some blessings will come your way. So let's celebrate National Blood Donor Month with our friends at the Coastal Bend Blood Center and do our part to help save lives here in our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The term brain tumor could be very, very intimidating, but today we have some good news for you. One of the most common types of brain tumors is not only non-cancerous, but pretty easy to operate on these days. I'm here with Dr. Lewis at South Texas Brain and Spine in downtown Corpus Christi off of 3rd Street, and the doctor is in the house. And tell me what we're learning about today.
Yes, we're going to talk about pituitary adenomas.
Okay.
And they are benign growth coming from the pituitary gland. And the pituitary gland is the master hormone gland. It helps produce your thyroid hormones, your cortisol, and growth hormone, and things of that sort. And oftentimes we'll see people with growths on these glands, and it can cause vision loss. It can cause hormone problems and headaches. Most of the time we follow these people over years and they don't grow or change, but when they do, then we have a nice elegant way to fix it. And one option is actually to come through the nose. And we can go with a series of small tubes or dilators, and the nose itself has these air spaces, and we can take advantage of that to go up to a place called the sphenoid sinus. And the sphenoid sinus is like a little cave. And when we go into that sinus, at the base of the cave is a little bowl where the pituitary gland is located. And we can open up the bottom of the bowl and scoop out that tumor and leave the gland behind, and it takes the pressure off the nerves to the eyes so vision can be restored, which is one of the few things where we can restore vision. And the nice thing is it's not painful, and usually people go home the next day or the day after. There's a small chance of it returning, or if there's some residual tumor that's stuck down to something vital, we leave it behind because 1, it is benign, 2, it is slow growing, and then we have another option for treatment where we can use a focused beam of radiation to zap the tumor, and we use a computer to connect the dots, like a picture that kids draw. And we can target the residual tumor or the recurrent tumor, and an outpatient setting. I think the most dramatic cases are the ones where people have acromegaly, like the world's tallest man, people who are over 7 feet tall. They develop these tumors when they're teenagers, and they continue to grow and grow when most of us stop in our teens. And that's how they get to be 8 feet tall and huge basketball players.
Wow, interesting. And
Yeah.
who's to say whether or not they would change that for themselves, right? Because it's led to some really great basketball careers.
Yes.
Well, regardless, we're so grateful for the information that you're sharing with us. Again, that term, brain tumor, can be very, very scary. Cue the tears. But the good news is that with the advice and the help and the guidance of doctors like Dr. Lewis, Dr. Alexander, and the team here at South Texas Brain and Spine, not only can they reassure you of what that path looks like, but we've got all the confidence in the world that you've done this pretty often.
Yeah, for
right?
34 years.
34 years, several times. I would just ask you, you said what, 10 to 12 times a year that we're doing this particular procedure,
Yes.
right?
Yes, we do microsurgery every day. And fortunately, these tumors are not that common. And secondly, they also are slow growing, so we can watch them over many years.
Great.
So you're right, it's not a death sentence and nothing to stress about.
Great. Well, thank you for giving us peace of mind. See what I
Yes.
did there? If you're looking for their services, get in touch with our friends here at South Texas Brain and Spine, and be sure to mention Coastal Living sent you.
Coastal Living's Doctor in the House is paid for by South Texas Brain and Spine Center.
In the U.S., as of August 1st, there have been nearly 500 norovirus outbreaks in states that report that data. There were 363 norovirus outbreaks reported by these states in that same period last seasonal year.
Basically, any place that people aggregate in close quarters, they're going to be especially at risk.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta says norovirus can survive on surfaces for long periods, and many common household cleaners and even hand sanitizers can't kill it.
They may say, for example, that they are 99.9% effective, like this does, against viruses and bacteria, but it turns out that norovirus is often in that 0.1%.
Gupta says it has to do with the virus's makeup. Its tough protein protective coat makes it harder for cleaners to penetrate. He says companies do make products that kill norovirus, but you have to check the label to see if it's included. You can also make your own.
By mixing bleach with water, 3/4 of a cup of bleach per gallon of water. Now, if you don't want to use bleach, for example, on your countertops, you can try a disinfectant that contains hydrogen peroxide instead.
Norovirus can also survive temperatures up to 145 degrees. So if you're disinfecting carpet, experts recommend steam cleaning for 5 minutes at 175 degrees. The same for laundry.
Use hot water on the longest cycle and dry at the highest heat setting.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
We're off to a great start, but don't go anywhere. When we return, we've got a pit stop for you to make when you do head out to Port Aransas for Restaurant Week. Chapel on the Dunes is one of the most iconic destinations in Port Aransas. There's so much history behind it, and it could be your future wedding venue. So we've got some information about the history behind it and what to expect when you stop by to visit. We'll be back with more on Coastal Living.
Welcome to Lane B. Carter's Chapel on the Dunes. Come on in. So as you can see, there's a lot to talk about here. This was built in 1937 for Aline Carter, who had dedicated her life to spreading the Bible to mainly children, but to anybody she could. And it was built by her friend Ethel Harris, who was in charge of the San Antonio missions. And you'll see some mission-style tile work, like on the steps right here, designed by Aline Carter, and then produced by Ethel Harris in her tile shop at her house. The altar's white marble, and then all the artwork was done by John Cobb, a local artist. He lives now in Austin, who did this fresco secco. It's actually done on dried animal hide glue. And it depicts stories of the Bible that he thought would be interesting to children, because the functionality of this chapel for Aline's purpose was to teach kids about the Bible. And she had held regular Bible lessons here. And when she didn't get very many people at first, she started serving ice cream and cake in 1930s, late 1930s. That was a pretty special thing. So of course the number of people that showed up at her services increased dramatically. And then it was in the 70s where John Cobb did this fresco, kind of building on that theme. And he started off in this corner. It took him about 2 years to complete this. He started about 1976. And of course, starting with Genesis, it starts and ends with a panel that goes from bottom to ceiling. We've got the formation of the earth, Adam and Eve, and then the tree of knowledge above them. Another great panel is Abraham about to sacrifice his son. You can see the angel stopping him at the last second. He smeared him with lamb's blood, but the angel prevents him from dealing his final blow. This is Daniel's dream about being in the lion's den above it. And then, of course, as you move around clockwise, you move into the New Testament, starting with a very large panel on Mary. And then all these radiant lines were to call attention to a sculpture that John Cobb originally put on the altar, but the Carters had it removed. And also the Carters had Voss Metals in San Antonio originally make these scroll crosses that fit into the two windows, and they were just recently replaced by the grandson of the man that did it the first time. And then this has a special story, and you're just going to have to come to the museum, go on one of our tours, and learn why this inset is so different from the city of God that surrounds it, that John Cobb originally built. So thank you for visiting the chapel, and we hope you come back and take a really good look and hear all the stories we have about Aline Carter and Ethel Harris and the building of the chapel and some of the evolution of events that occurred in the chapel. And you can find out more by visiting our website, PortArenzisMuseum.org. There's also a link to the Carters have a great website on the family in the chapel, and that's chapelonthedunes.org. Well, thank you for coming and visiting the Chapel on the Dunes. We hope to see you soon.
It is that time of the year, and we are calling you to take action and help those in need. I am here with Steve with West Texas Rehab, celebrating their 55th annual telethon. Congratulations. That's a whole lot of time and a whole lot of money raised. Absolutely. Talk to me about the telethon and what West Texas Rehab actually is.
Well, West Texas Rehab has actually been around since 1953, so we're actually celebrating our 72nd year this year. But we see everybody, whether they can pay or not, regardless of their financial circumstance, we're going to take care of them. And that's what the telethon helps us do. Between our fundraising, which we do 47 fundraising events a year, believe it or not. So between our net fundraising and our foundation, we're tasked with raising $9 million each year between what it costs to provide health care and what we're actually reimbursed. That's what we have to make up for those patients.
Incredible. And how do you all go about selecting the people that are offered these services and receive that compensation?
Absolutely. It's open to anybody. So, all walks of life, all ages, and basically all they have to do is come in and show proof of income that they need the services, and then our donors help them out. We call it our donor sponsorship program because, sometimes people don't associate value with free. So we always say somebody stepped up to help you get the care you received. The biggest thing right now people can do is go out to Handbid. That's HANDBID.com. And it's an app in the App Store, whether you're using Android or whether you're using an iPhone. Go out to Handbid, click the Rehab 2025 Telethon, and we have a huge auction right now. We have 484 items on there now. And so I always tell people, even if you don't get an item, make sure somebody else pays more for it, because that all the proceeds go to the West Texas Rehab Center. So that's how people can help us right now, all the way through midnight. That auction will go on through midnight. And of course, as they're watching the show on your station, they can certainly call in or there'll be ways to link and go in there and donate that night. Over a third of our patients get some kind of help from our donors, and we see 850 patients a day. So almost 300 patients a day are going to get some kind of help from our donors. And you know, we have people that come all the time, and they're just in tears because maybe they owe the hospital they came from, where they had a surgery or they had an amputation or those kind of things. Maybe they owe that hospital a lot of money, and they come here and we say, hey, you're going to qualify for our donor sponsorship program. You don't have to worry about your bill. Other people stepped up to help you, and they're just in tears and emotional because, you know, many times, especially if they're kids that are premature or that have cerebral palsy or spina bifida or something like that, we may see them from birth all the way through adulthood.
So give me the details on how everybody at home can support this event.
Well, certainly tune in and watch. We have Aaron Watson and Tiger Lily Gold. They're headlining. Then we have Jake Hooker, Red Steagall. Charlie Chase is back for his 25th year. Ariel Hutchins will be performing. So certainly tune in and watch the show. And you know, if you feel compelled, call in and make a donation.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time today. And of course, everything you and the entire team are doing to give back to those in need. We admire that and we appreciate you all so much. So cheers to a very successful year.
Thank you very much, and hope you all have a very happy new year and a very blessed 2025.
Thanks, you too. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope we have you excited to bear this colder weather and head out to Port Aransas to enjoy the delicious flavors of the Coastal Bend during Restaurant Week, which goes on until February 2nd, so you still have time to enjoy that. We'll learn a little bit more about Restaurant Week on tomorrow's show, plus we'll be announcing our Harlem Globetrotter 4-pack ticket winners. Congratulations to those of you who submitted, and we'll be announcing those winners tomorrow. Let's keep the conversation going online at Coastal Living TV on Facebook and Instagram. That's the best place to stay in touch. Until then, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.